A lot of us, we've grown up, especially in the Black community, we've grown up to keep it moving. Like, what's the pressure? I actually want to talk about like self-diagnosis. I'll mess up my words when I'm speaking and all of a sudden I would think I have dyslexia, or like, when I was younger, I was catching water from the well 5,000 streets away. So what do you mean you're depressed? I'll see a TikTok and it'll have like bare views, bare likes, and it will say, put your hand down if you have this. And if you put all your hands down, you have depression or you have ADHD. And I'll be thinking like, rah, maybe I've got this. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hey, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hey, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hey, welcome back. Welcome. If you're new, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And even if you're not new, make sure you like this video. And everybody else, like this video. Okay? Today we have a different kind of video, and I'm joined by a special guest, Debbie, who is a qualified mental health practitioner and also the founder of Psychology & Co.
Hi guys. I'm like so shy right now.
And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the realities of mental health and if people use it to their advantage. So Debbie,
Hello.
could you tell us a bit about your job, how you got into it, and your favorite thing about it?
I am a qualified mental health and wellbeing practitioner, and I work for the NHS doing low intensity CBT therapy for people who have severe mental health difficulties. I see clients with a range of different presentations, so from like schizophrenia, bipolar, emotionally unstable personality disorder, like severe depression, severe anxiety, OCD, the full works. What I love most about my role is the people that I get to see and the way I can build real meaningful relationships with people, and also the way that they allow me to experience their internal world and their distress, and like the way that they trust me to do that.
It sounds like a very intense job.
It's very, oh my God. No, it's so intense, but I love it.
Because of your experience, I thought it would be a great idea to have you come on my channel and talk about all things mental health, especially because World Mental Health Day is coming up on the 10th of October. So my first question to you is, what is mental health to you? Because I know some people use the word as if like mental health is the illness. The illness would be something deeper, I don't know, like depression or schizophrenia or something like that. So to you, what is mental health?
Mental health means to me your ability to cope with everyday life when it comes to things on an emotional level and also like a mental level as well.
So with the definition that you've given, do you feel like there's a large percentage of people who use mental health as an excuse to either be a bad partner, a bad friend, just avoid doing things that they're supposed to be doing? Because for me personally, I feel like maybe not a large percentage, but there is a small group of people who do. For example, when it was alleged that Philip Schofield had abused that young boy, it really quickly moved on to, oh, like his mental health, guys, he's gonna kill himself, like he's gonna harm himself, rather than the issue at hand, which was what he had allegedly done. So do you feel like there are a large group of people who use mental health as an excuse?
Yeah, I think with anything in life, I think there are going to be certain people who abuse certain terminologies and certain things in life. Your mental health is never an excuse. I just see it as an explanation. I'm able to resonate with both sides of that. I'm able to resonate with, obviously I wouldn't want someone to kill themselves, but at the same time, he did do something that has caused someone, you know, who's probably gonna have mental health issues themselves, you know?
It's hard because even with that example, I just feel like maybe he could be potentially, you know, feeling like he's gonna harm himself, but is it that he used it? Because I feel like in today's society we're a lot more open about talking about mental health and things like that. People come online and they talk about depression a lot more than I feel like they did when I was in secondary school. So I feel like, especially because we are a softer generation, I feel like as we're getting older, we're becoming more soft. So I feel like maybe he actually wasn't going to harm himself. He just said it to get some sympathy.
I definitely resonate with you in that, and I do believe as though, you know, some people who are in positions of power or like in the public eye, they use certain trends or what's, you know, upcoming, because society's fickle. You know, like society's always gonna go with the narrative.
100%.
So one minute we're going with the narrative of, oh, he's an abuser, and then we're going with the narrative of you know, he's got mental health difficulties and he's struggling with suicidality. However, I do believe that I am so for like the notion of like mental health being talked about more, people taking that seriously, because what people don't understand is that there's a lot of like generational trauma with everyone, because in society, like you said, emotional health, mental health was just not taken seriously.
Yeah.
And yes, I do believe that there's more softness. It's a lot more harder to be vulnerable than it is to be, oh, like I'm okay and like macho man or whatever.
Okay, so I want to bring up a similar situation. It goes off more on the topic of trauma. But firstly, before I give the example, what's your definition of trauma?
Trauma to me is when you go through really difficult life circumstances and you're not offered the right and most healthy type of support for it.
And going back to my last question, do you feel like people use trauma as an excuse, and can it be justified? For example, the whole Dre and Max situation, I don't know if you saw it. I know a lot of you watching saw it, like we all saw it. Dre and Mac was found physically and emotionally abusing one of her ex-partners.
Who is this, sorry?
Dre Mac is the girl that's saying, I love him with a body. She comes like, I'm into the telly.
Oh, right, okay.
No, you don't know.
No.
She blew off TikTok,
Right,
and
okay.
she made that really bait TikTok song. It came out that she had been physically and emotionally abusing one of her ex-partners. She went onto Instagram to apologize, but rather than her really like showing that she's sorry, she kind of shifted it onto like trauma that she hasn't dealt with in the past, and it was given excuse. To me, I feel like that can't be justified, because everybody goes through some sort of trauma, and it's really down to you to find a way to deal with it and heal. It's not fair, and it doesn't give you a right to go and treat the next person like poo or like be a bully. What do you think? Do you feel like people use it as an excuse, and can it be justified?
Oh, 100%.
When they can, when they do?
No, 100% people do use trauma as an excuse. I don't ever think that's justified for being, you know, treating people horribly or abusing someone or, you know, just being nasty to someone. I would never ever view that as an excuse. However, society does this thing where because you've done something bad or, you know, horrible to someone, your perception of how they may be explaining themselves, because you're asking them for an explanation. So how you then receive that, because there is so much anger and, you know, frustration towards her and what she's done, you could then perceive that as, okay, she's using it as an excuse. However, I think if someone was to, you know, to view that apology with a kind of like a psychological mind, they'd be able to kind of analyze that but have an objective stance. You have to understand, when people have subjective views about something, they are definitely always going to be biased. It's going to be attuned to your emotions and how you feel about whatever it is. So is it really her using that as an excuse, or is she just explaining
That's
the reasons
why,
behind? Because people want to know why, and she's giving them, and because you don't deem that as
a valid answer.
Yeah.
Not excuse. Answer.
You could think
That's why
that
you
she's
think it's
using
an
it as an excuse.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I've
Yeah.
never actually looked at it from that point of view. When I saw it, I instantly thought like, what are you doing? Because to me, everybody goes through something, you know. You at some point felt this feeling, so why would you want to make somebody else feel like that? Now that you've explained it like that, I see both sides now. So recently, I saw a guy tweet something crazy. I don't know if you've seen it. I'm gonna get up the tweet. The tweet was wild. I'm not gonna lie. It was very wild. It was basically saying mental health doesn't exist.
Oh god.
So you need to get up, basically. Get off your ass and go and get the job done. So he said, mental health doesn't exist, fella. You wake up less happy than you did the day before, and then you decide to either carry on your upset and poor me mindset, or you actually do something about it. Way too many people are too comfortable being the victim for clout. It's easier to be little poor me, no one can challenge it, and if they do, now they become the problem. He said that way too many excuse my French. Way too many heads online running their gums using ADHD, mental health or autism as an excuse to be a muppet. Get in the bin. These things didn't exist in my childhood or early adulthood. All for clout or excuses for being a loser.
Oh.
Very, very crazy. What are your thoughts? Because when I saw that, I said, whoa. Not that I hear it. Like, he was saying some crazy things in there. But at the same time, because I feel like there are some people who drag it. There are some people who use it as an excuse. So that's maybe where he's coming from. But at the same time, just because, like I was saying before, like we are softer, we're more open to talk about these things, just because that's what we're doing now, it doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't exist. Like people are just they're more brave to talk on these things.
Yeah.
Just because to you, you're just like, like I feel this way, it doesn't matter, I need to get up, I need to go make money, I need to go do this, doesn't mean that some people, they just can't keep going. And that's okay. It's not them trying to be a loser. It's not, everybody has those days, right? But maybe because you've never heard it from a professional viewpoint, that you've never thought to sit down, oh, maybe I'm depressed, you know, maybe the reason why I'm feeling like this is because of something that's going wrong with my mental health. You've never been easy with yourself, because a lot of us, we've grown up, especially in the Black community, we've grown up to keep it moving. Like, what's depression? What's mental health? What's sadness? What are you talking about? When I was younger, I was catching water from the well 5,000 streets away. So what do you mean you're depressed? Like, a lot of us grew up, and that's the standpoint. If you talk about therapy, they'll look at you like side eye. What the hell is therapy? Get a grip. Bombastic. What do you think?
It does exist. I think there's so many things that you said that was so relevant to this conversation. And I think one thing that stood out to me was your reference with regards to like the Black community. Like you said, like within the Black community, like it was a very, what is that? Like I did not, honestly, the fact that I did not know what mental health was growing up, I'm actually in shock.
Yeah,
like,
I think a lot of us didn't know what it was. We just had to keep it moving.
Like that word was just not like,
not in vocabulary.
Not in my vocabulary at all. And to think that we now live in a world that's so immersed in it, and I work in a field that is literally focuses on that, I'm like, no wonder why, you know, a lot of us struggle. Because like you said, it's like you either wake up, push through your problems, get on with it, or you can choose to be the victim. The thing is with me, it's like people take it in extremes. People always think, you know, mental health is not black and white. It's the ability to have a multitude of perspectives. And that's what I feel like that needs to be applied into mental health. It's not, oh, like what I think is right and that's it. It could be a billion other things. When you're dealing with humans, you have to understand that we are so complex. We feel different things. Our ability to feel and process different is gonna look so different to everyone. Two people could go through a very traumatic experience and they could both come out with it with different mental health difficulties. So, you know, like he said, you know, he said that thing, you can either choose to be the victim, which I do resonate with to a certain extent. You know, some people do have that mentality and some people do use it as a way to get sympathy, and it's feeding a need that they may not have got whilst they were growing up. I'm not saying that's right, but people do that and they take advantage of that. What my work is specifically rooted in is it's allowing you the space to process whatever it is that you're going through emotionally, you know, and validate that experience and empower you to take ownership in how you feel. And then, you know, we work towards goals. It's step by step, you know. And I think when you think about mental health like that, I think that's a healthier view to have on mental health rather than, oh, you're either a victim because you're struggling emotionally, which everybody does. Yeah, everybody does. Like, your emotions are like the realest thing to you. If your body's having a physiological reaction to something, you cannot tell me that I am wrong or I shouldn't feel that way. Because if my body's having that natural reaction, then what can I do? Like,
exactly.
How can you tell me not, like, if I'm crying, how can you tell me not to cry? You know
what I mean?
That's my view on what he said. And he should probably go to see a therapist.
One thing that he said was that way too many thingy heads online running their gums using ADHD, mental health, or autism as an excuse to be in market. I want to talk about that a little bit. I actually want to talk about like self-diagnosis.
Oh yeah.
So I've noticed recently and previously that people often say that they have things like ADHD, anxiety, depression, dyslexia, even though they actually haven't been diagnosed with it. So they're just like walking around and saying that they have these things that maybe they don't even have it. I'll hold my hands up. Even for me, like, I'll make 1-2 spelling mistakes, I'll mess up my words when I'm speaking, and all of a sudden I would think I have dyslexia, or like sorry. No, like, for real, like, I'll be doing these things and I'll actually think that I have dyslexia. Or like, I'll see a TikTok and it'll have like bare views, bare likes, and it will say like, put your hand down if you have this. And if it's just like, if you put all your hands down, you have depression. Or you put all your hands down, you have ADHD. And I'll be thinking like, rah, maybe I've got this. I feel like there are quite a few people who do it. And can we walk around saying that we have these things? Or is it that we need to have it confirmed by, like, how do you know
if you have
it,
a
like
mental health disorder?
Yeah, even for like anxiety, maybe you're just shy, so when you're around a lot of people you're uncomfortable, but does that mean you have anxiety? Do you know what I mean?
Anxiety is an emotion. Everybody can get anxiety. You don't have to like go to a mental health professional in order to be, that's an emotion. However, an anxiety disorder, that's where you need to go to professionals. Even depression as well. Everybody has low mood. Okay, everybody can have that. With any type of mental health disorder, I would always say you need to seek the help of an actual mental health professional who is able, so a psychiatrist basically, who is able to diagnose you with these. Even psychologists, therapists, they can't diagnose. Second question was, is
it valid for people to say like they have these things without actually going to seek professional help?
No, because essentially when you have a disorder, if you've been diagnosed, it's when you are not able to function in life. On a day-to-day basis, you are not able to function. Someone who has an anxiety disorder is going to be able to function less so and have a less quality of life than someone who just experiences anxiety when triggered, if that makes sense.
Okay, so if I said for the past week I've just been so down, I'm depressed, but I've been able to do everything that I need to do, can I say that I'm depressed, or is it just that I'm having a bad week?
I think you can say that you feel depressed and you feel low in mood. However, to then turn around and be like, oh, I have depression. I have depression. That's a different thing, you know? Because again, with the diagnostic criteria, you have to be experiencing these symptoms for a certain period of time to be diagnosed with the disorder.
Makes sense.
Am I making sense?
You're making sense. You're making sense. Could you give me 3 misconceptions about mental health?
Number 1 is mental health doesn't exist. It really, really does, the same way your physical health exists. If your mind shuts down,
your body will.
Yeah. Like they're very linked together. So if you do feel as though like you're struggling to cope psychologically and mentally and emotionally, I would please go seek professional help. Just because you have gone through trauma, which is obviously rooted in mental health, does not mean that you are broken. What trauma does, it just causes a misalignment with who you truly are. You don't have to really be struggling to go and seek professional help. It can be at any time of your life. You don't necessarily have to have a mental health disorder in order to seek help. Therapy can also be useful for self-exploration and finding, learning more about yourself. It's a space where someone actually asks you, how do you feel? Which is something that a lot of us didn't grow up having.
How would you say is the best way to help somebody who is struggling with their mental health?
The first thing to do is to listen to them. If you feel like you have the capacity to do it, I would say just listen to them. Don't question why is it that they feel certain ways. Validate their pain. Say things like, it's going to be okay. That sounds really difficult. Can you tell me more? So it's just things, and obviously follow my Instagram page for more of that. I've got loads of tips for that. If you do not feel like you have the capacity to support someone with their mental health, I would say really prompt them and also support them in the process of getting real professional help.
3 tips for dealing with mental health.
Personally, obviously there's different ways, but personally I would say really pay attention to your body when you're having when you find yourself being triggered. Whenever you feel like you've had a really emotional day, really pay attention to what your body is telling you. My second tip is your thoughts are not your emotions. So pay attention to when you are trying to process your emotions, if you find yourself going to your head trying to figure out why X, Y, and Z has happened, or why you're,
I'll
really
be doing that.
Yeah.
I'll be doing that.
Trust me, you're not the only one. So just really pay attention to what your thoughts are saying, because it's completely different to they work together, your emotions and your thoughts, however they're different things. And the last tip I would say is just give yourself more credit where it's due. You are experiencing a lot of difficulties living day-to-day life. You experience different triggers that set you off emotionally. They may make you feel overwhelmed. And I think I would just say, please allow yourself the grace and the time to really sit down and say to yourself, every day I've chosen to wake up and try, despite what that looks like. You are still striving to live life despite the difficulties, despite anything. And I think to be able to do that every day, that's your value. It's not what you can do for people, it's not what you achieve, of course, as part of you, but your ability to live life every day, get up every day through the challenges, that is where your value lies. So that's my tip. Be kind to yourself, be self-compassionate.
Guys, is she cute? Thank you so much, Debbie, for coming on my channel. Like I said in the beginning, guys, Debbie is a qualified mental health and wellbeing practitioner. practitioner, and she is also the founder of Psychology & Co. I'm gonna put her page details in the description box below. Make sure you check her out, all right? And make sure you're taking care of your mental health, guys. It's important. Like we said before, without good mental health, your body will shut down. If your mind is not okay, nothing is okay.
Facts.
All right? And don't let anybody make you feel like what you're feeling is invalid.
Facts.
All right?
Facts.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's it. That is literally it.
Lovely.
Perfect.
Okay, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comments if you'd like more videos like this. Please don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, and don't forget to subscribe. And I'm gonna catch you in my next video. Bye.
Bye.